I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
Welcome back to Oops the Podcast, everybody. I am Julio, sitting here with my pal Francis. Francis, how are you? How are you doing? Hello.
I'm here.
So, dude, I wanted to talk to you about something funny.
What have you?
A couple episodes ago, we were talking about how I introduced my dad to Squid Games, and the second I started talking about it, he goes, "Don't tell me anything else. Don't tell me anything else," because he is so anti-spoiler that any suggestion, anything at all, would ruin the show for him, and therefore, blah blah whatever. So the other day, I call my dad. This is the craziest hypocritical situation that I've maybe ever been in. He's like, "What's up?" I'm like, "Nothing. What are you up to?" He's like, "I just went to see James Bond," and then delivers an unbelievable spoiler. And if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. And if you haven't, go see it, and you will know exactly what I'm talking about. To the point where, and I was like, fuck, I really wanted to see that. And I told Hillary, she's like, "What'd he say?" She's like, "I like to know what happens at the end anyway." I'm like, "I'm not telling you. And when it happens, you're gonna be like, oh, wow." So what ends up happening, we go to the movies, the movie ends, and she goes, he didn't tell you that, did he? And I was like, yeah. She goes, "Is he okay?" Dude, it was absolutely, so go see the movie. I'm going to say nothing else because I don't want to ruin the movie. But a tremendous, the biggest spoiler I've ever personally experienced. And I couldn't fucking believe it.
Wow.
And then he tried to go into a normal conversation. He's like, "So what's going on with you?" I'm like, "Nothing except for the movie I've been looking forward to being completely fucking ruined," which he thought was funny.
Yeah.
And at least I get to talk about it in the pod, but like, what the fuck, dude?
Well, you told me about this last night, but you didn't tell me the spoiler, and I appreciate that because I am keen to see James Bond. You also said that you guys went to the movies to see James Bond, and it was electric.
It was really fun.
Going to the movies.
Yeah.
Because I have not gone to the movies in over a year.
Last
2 years.
Last time I went to the movies, I went to see fucking Little Women with that little shit, Timothy Chalamet. Lord knows how I was roped into doing that, but that's the last time that I've been to the movies, and that was 2 years ago.
Wow.
So you haven't been
I don't think I've been in the pandemic. I really don't, but I can't remember for sure. No, I don't think I have. Oh, you know what? That's not true. I did. When I was in Indianapolis, I went to the movies.
Oh, yeah, by yourself.
Which, and it was not a very good movie.
And you saw the Matt Damon movie.
The Matt Damon movie. It wasn't great. And I was the only person in there. So, not the best experience. But seeing James Bond, that's movie experience.
Dude,
there.
went to Sugarfish, followed by James Bond.
Ooh,
it was
there's a little night.
Dude, so I was a little hungover too, and like, but I was okay. You know what I mean? I was fully able to function, and it turned into like a wonderful night. Sugarfish, James Bond, met up with one of our buddies for a couple of drinks, home early, in bed, ready to rip.
Wow.
Good
So
times.
fun, man. So good. The movies are great.
So, dude, my dad dropping a couple of red flags, left it a little bit. He's sprinkling red flags. He's beginning flight school, dude. My dad is beginning flight school.
What sort of flight school?
Planes. Flying planes. And I know he's serious because he starts talking about the different like classifications of pilot's licenses. He's like, my license, he's like, mine is for sight only flying. I'm like, dude, first of all, what does the fuck is that? He's like, you fly below the cloud, whatever. And he's like, because a real license, costs $80,000 to get a commercial license. I'm like, Dad, I hope you wouldn't be getting a commercial license. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, yeah, I can just come fly and visit you on Long Island in the summers. And I'm like, Dad, I got to be honest, dude. I'm not ever fucking flying with you.
Buy a little Cessna.
And, dude, he then goes into this fucking rant about how you shouldn't just sit and wait to die. You should live your life. He's like, if you go a little sooner, but you live life to the fullest, at least it was good. I was like, this is such juicy revenge material the next time you don't agree with something that I'm doing.
Interesting.
I'm going to be like, Dad, remember a little quote you once told me? I really took it to heart. Thank you for inspiring me to live my life
to the fullest.
To the fucking fullest.
I'm now neck deep in heroin. So let me ask you this. That's where my mind goes.
I didn't see that coming.
That's always where my mind goes,
That's
living
good.
life to the fullest.
Live life to the fullest, dog.
Do you think that in terms of, okay, this is an, I don't know how to ask this. I guess my question is this. When you look at your life that you've lived so far, I think you would probably say you've lived a pretty full life. You've gone for it.
You're talking to me?
Yeah.
I believe that too.
Yeah, I believe that too about myself.
Yeah.
I believe that I've gone for it. The one thing that I am nervous about is how much the insane amount of exercise and sports that I played is going to catch up to me as I get older.
Just like your hips and stuff.
My body is going to break down.
So, but isn't there some kind of school of thought that like you can start to take longevity measures now with, you already have a great diet, doing more kind of like stretch and prep and.
It's really just my joints. I'm really concerned about the beating that I put my body through because I get sore so easily and I feel like I'm too young. A lot of my friends don't. A lot of people don't. But I just went so hard. You know, this is something really basic. Okay, here's a little thing. A lot of time, I like to jump from the second or third to last stair down to the floor. I like to get to the bottom as fast as possible.
Okay.
I take the stairs at a normal pace because I don't want to fall. But once I've only got 2 or 3 steps left, I might jump.
I like that.
But I do that. And every time I do it now, I instantly say in my head, why did I do that?
Oh, because it's like a high risk activity.
Well, no, just the pounding on my legs, on my joints, my knees, my ankles. Why didn't I just finish the staircase?
Right.
And it's this boyish desire to be fun and reckless.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what can I do? Can I trick off the last 3
Flipping
steps?
off a cliff.
Should I spin? Should I do a grab? You know, but I don't. And then instead I just jump and then I land and then I feel it. I feel that shock now. And I didn't used to feel that.
Interesting.
And I think that I'm going to pay for it. I'm going to be paying for it my whole life.
Dude, that just reminded me of something pretty funny. In high school, there was a kid. So like, I don't know if there were kids like kids who kind of treated the world like it was a Magic the Gathering game, kind of. That maybe is not giving this guy full credit, but like, you know, he's sort of always a little bit in like fantasy land, not necessarily in a bad way, but he would jump from like the 8th step.
Oh no.
And then he would land on all fours like Spider-Man.
Wow.
And he would like look around. This guy, Brian, dude.
That's cool.
I always found it pretty funny.
That is cool. Yeah.
And then we'd be in math class and he'd be like, dude, I can move that pencil with my brain. And I'd be like, no, you can't. He'd be like, yeah, I can't watch. I'd be like, all right. And then he would do it. And then nothing would happen. And then he actually sort of didn't even really like say, oh, it didn't work this time. He was like, give me a sec. And then like somehow the teacher would interrupt or like, so he never admitted that he couldn't move things with his mind.
Good for him.
But this kid was pretty funny, dude.
I like that. I like Brian.
Brian.
It does.
Brian's last name actually changed twice in high school too. He started high school with one last name and ended with a different one. No idea how that happened. Sorry to interrupt you.
Wow.
Yeah. Brian.
His parents get divorced and his mom find a new man?
I have no idea. Because can that happen? In that situation, you don't. The only way I can think, and I don't think this was him, is if you're a foster kid who then becomes adopted, you then maybe will take that family's name. But that wasn't the situation for him.
Right.
So I don't know how or why. Sorry, I had to put that out there.
To the story of Brian. To the story of Brian.
Good old Brian.
I read a statistic somewhere a couple days ago that this past year, applicants or enrolled college students were 60% female, 40% male. And that in the next couple of years, there will be 2 female college students to every 1 male college student.
Interesting.
College applications in general are down, but it's becoming far more skewed. Young men are going less and less to college.
Interesting.
What do you think that's going to do?
I don't know. The first thing that popped into my head is that men are just going to start overcompensating with their lack of knowledge by just being more toxically male.
Dude, I agree. I don't think this is a good thing.
That's not a good thing.
My hope, you hope, oh wow, that women will become more educated than men. That will help, narrow the wage gap and have more women running businesses, and they'll be smarter than men, and that'll be great for society. But I don't see it going that way.
Men just start physically intimidating women.
Men
more.
will just become more and more like cavemen, just idiot, stupider and stupider. Let's put it this way. All the problems that women have faced over the years because of men, I just don't think a lot of them stemmed from the fact that it was like, yeah, he he had that philosophy degree, and it meant he'd come home and he'd be really mad that the dinner wasn't ready, and he'd quote Sartre and then start beating me with a coat hanger or something like,
Oh my God.
I don't think it was that. It wasn't that men were going to college too often, but I think that this is a problem.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you have to even say your gender still when you apply? Are there more classifications of gender? Is that somehow contributing to this?
I think I think they still trace it. I don't know how many people are checking the other box or.
Because, dude, to be honest, I check the other box just to be a dick. You know what I mean? I'm like, it's like male, female,
business,
prefer
yeah.
not to say. I just say prefer not to say. Fuck you.
Yeah, I sometimes think about that too. I don't really. I almost feel like by putting down male that that's gonna put me in some kind of weird disadvantaged category. Not because men are disadvantaged, but that I'd rather not.
They're just
have
gonna
them
think
know.
you're dumb now because men are.
Could be,
Right.
or just like I don't want you taking any preconceived notions against me.
Yeah, right.
I don't want having any in this thing. I want to find it out from a blank slate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get that. I'm with the other.
Interesting. That is a very interesting. I got a question for you. Wait, first of all, was there more to that?
No.
I'm sure. How did we get to that topic? College students.
I just said it, even though it had nothing to do with what we'd been talking about, because it was something I wanted to tell you.
No. I was in no way throwing shade at that thought. It's a very interesting thought. I was just like, was there something we were talking about Brian, which led into applicants. Brian applicants. Interesting, dude. Okay, can I ask you a question?
Please.
Do I have a mushroom cut, dude? I got a bad haircut.
What's a mushroom cut?
It's like it goes out from the sides, kind of like an atomic blast.
Oh.
I feel like I'm tight near the ears, and then it comes out a bit.
No,
and
I don't
feel like
think
I
so.
look like my third grade self.
No, I don't think so.
No?
No.
I'm good?
I think it's a perfectly fine haircut. I think you look fine.
You're okay.
I look good?
Oh, that's Ryan, everybody. Ryan on the mic.
Ryan.
There's nothing wrong. It looks perfectly fine. I saw your post yesterday.
You thought it looked fine?
You have nothing to worry about.
Ryan did a TikTok, everybody, that I went and looked at. It has 1.7 million views, which is really strong.
Strong?
And the text says, when your girl sends you a really dirty text. And it's a video of him reading his phone. And he's like, whoa, kind of, whoa, holy cow. And then he gets up and he goes, Mom. And I did not get it when I watched it. And fortunately, Ryan explained it to me. But it just made me feel really stupid.
Yeah, it's like at least the proof is in the pudding. Like if that had no views and he said that would be really insulting. But the fact that it's like a tried and true thing.
I'm wrong.
It's the good old incest joke.
Yeah.
Incest joke.
Is that your highest performing TikTok?
Yeah. And then I had like a family friendly one of recording my dad pranking my mom. That one did well too. But that was
How many did that one get?
1.3.
Oh,
Something like
damn,
that.
bro.
Solid, bro. Okay, bro. I see you, bro.
Is this where you want to be? You want to be a TikTok guy?
I like posting TikToks.
How many do you post a day?
So
Francis
starting last
workshopping.
week, I've set a goal posting one a day for the next 90 days. So
Wow.
I'm on,
God.
and so that includes planning ahead and off to a good start.
You do Saturdays and Sundays too?
No.
Wow.
So weekdays.
Okay, bro. I'm less impressed.
Weekday TikToker.
Less impressed, Ryan.
Yeah, I only
The
post
90-day challenge or the Ryan 90-day challenge?
Well,
I like to have a balance. I like to have a TikTok life balance.
to be fair, people don't really TikToks don't do well on the weekends. Not that I read into it too well.
Yeah, but
I believe it.
do you think that the Hype House is taking weekends off? Do you think that Bryce Hall is taking Saturday and Sunday off?
This is fair. This is fair.
Do you think Bryce Hall got to being where he is by only posting Monday through Friday, one per day?
Probably not.
There you go.
Follow all of us on TikTok. Oops, the podcast. Francis and I have our individual accounts. Ryan and Chris, what are your guys' TikToks?
Ryan 28 Lynch.
And
you know what?
Chris.mp4, right?
I'm going to say this. I don't want you to follow me on TikTok. I don't. I'd rather, I don't
You want to consolidate viewership?
I don't want to become I don't want to become Ryan over here. I don't want to have to be beholden to my TikTok schedule.
Fair.
I am a very casual TikToker. I dip a toe, I dip another toe, and then I walk down the beach. And I forget about it. I do forget about it a lot.
It's good.
Yeah, but
good to forget.
that's why my TikTok game is pretty weak.
Dude, my brother sent me a pretty funny text. This is from a little while ago, but it stuck with me. It's just very specific. He goes, dude, imagine if there were friendship contracts.
Oh.
And like you're hanging out with a guy and you're like, you know what, man, I like you. Let's be friends. And you whip out this contract, you put it right in front of him, and it outlines the amount of correspondence that you need to have. It's like 2 FaceTimes or / calls a month, 5 texts a week, whatever. And then the guy's like, well, dude, what if I don't specifically adhere to this? You just go, oh, dude, I'm not going to chase you down or anything. We're friends now. That just really stuck with me, dude. I'm like, that is very funny.
That would work.
My brother's name is Alessio. He's a very funny guy.
I'm trying to think, yeah.
Dude, so it's funny. It's amazing how little things can keep one engaged and interested.
Mm-hmm.
I have become obsessed with an internet app game that I want to tell you guys about because we are now working with them.
Yeah.
It is called Switchcraft. And I don't know if you guys have played sort of any, I guess the specific specification of this kind of game is called a match 3 game, which is essentially like a puzzle game, or when you line 3 things up, they disappear, the games that we all know and love. But this game has like a built-in graphic novel story element to it, which is really fucking fun, dude.
That's cool.
You follow our girl Bailey around and see her go to this witchcraft school, and to drive the story along, you have to win these little fucking games. And dude, it's really fun. Plus like little stuff in between where it's like, ooh, wipe off the mirror to see who's there.
Oh.
And it's Lexi. Dude, it's really fun, and I'm obsessed with it. So I recommend you guys get in there and play some Switchcraft. Francis, I'm going to get you hooked on it too.
Okay, I'll get into the Switchcraft.
It's a very good game.
I love Switchcraft.
You need to get in there. It's really, really, really fun. So
Nice.
download Switchcraft for free and unlock the magical mystery.
Damn, love it. All right, I got something for you.
Okay, love it.
It has taken me a long time, but I think I'm finally starting to convince Sierra to not be as social.
Interesting. Dude, okay, first of all, you are so social. Are you trying to blame her for that now?
Well, she's more social than I am. And
Am I missing something? Is she really?
She and her friends go out, they get together for dinner or brunch often.
So I've noticed that she has more stamina than you.
Yes, more
But as
stamina.
far as like events attempted, it seems as if you guys can go toe to toe there, but then her time on court is, if you were going to make a tennis metaphor, you've both played 7 matches, but she's played 3 5-setters.
Yeah.
So she's been on the court 5 hours longer than you.
Nice.
You
Nice
like that?
one.
That's
yeah,
pretty
that
good.
works.
That's pretty good.
That works for me. She fills our schedule. So a lot of the social events that I go to are things that she's sorted for us.
Interesting.
In addition, she does other things that are social.
Okay.
But I'm starting, after 3 years of being together, I've started to wear her down. I've worn her down a little bit, where I've started to see that she's become a little less eager, less likely to accept invitations to do things that aren't really exciting to her.
Interesting.
And here's one.
What a big step.
So we had an event. I'm not going to say who it was that invited us to it or what it was, but on the night of the event, certainly I did not really want to go. And she was showing signs of not wanting to go.
Okay.
So I smelled an opportunity.
That's big. This is big.
It's like a Jenga tower where it's like all you have to do is just lean on the plan and it's going to topple, So I'm pretty good at this. I'm pretty good at dissuading people from going out at night.
Dude, you just sound like a lion chasing the herd, looking for the weak or the offspring. You're finding the person at the end of the pack.
All you need is one person to stay in and watch TV with you.
You just need one kill. You eat for a week.
Yeah, you just need one buddy. And so, she's talking about how tired she is. She's yawning. I'm like, wow, that was a good yawn, Here's the thing you realize, like when someone's in that position, they don't need much. So, there's some things you can do to really get them to not want to go even more. Like sitting down on the couch, because we're like an hour away, 45 minutes away from having to go.
So you just start to try to look as comfortable as possible.
Yeah, so we sit on the couch. That's trouble because the couch is it just reminds you, hey, I'm comfortable and I'm available all night. Like we could have this for longer if you're just willing to tell them no.
This could be us, but you playing.
Yeah. But then, the major deterrent for her is that she's a good person and she doesn't want to disappoint people by not showing up. She wants to show her support. Mm-hmm. So then I start having to tell her, there's a lot of people going. They might not even notice that we're not there. There's and then I start drafting hypothetical excuse texts for her. I'm like, listen, you could say this, like, hey, listen, I was so excited to come, but unfortunately, I just have a lot going on. We're still recovering from this crazy engagement weekend. We can point to all kinds of things in our lives. I'm giving her options. Like, throw this in there. How to try this shoe on for getting out of tonight.
Domestication training.
Yeah. And unfortunately, she withstood the pressure, so we ended up going.
That's where this story ends.
We did end up going.
Anyway.
We ended up going.
Back to the drawing board.
And we had a nice time. And then, did I tell you this?
I don't think so.
So after the event, we were walking out, and I realized that we were very close to an old nightclub kind of.
Oh, you did tell us.
I did tell you about that?
Yeah.
All right, I won't tell that
in detail.
Again.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so we ended up having a bigger night than I would have thought, and
So it ended up being fun. So the moral of the story is.
No, I'm not going to go so far. I'm not going to go so far as to say it was fun.
Francis's efforts to domesticate his fiance have turned into them being more social than ever.
That's right.
That is what I feel.
It's like trying to,
it's an aha moment.
To sort of domesticate is the right word. I picked up this feral cat in the alley, and boy, she really wanted to stay out all night long. But I really tried to show her it's warmer in here. The couch is really here. We can have a nice meal. You don't have to. You're not going to face the dangers out there in here. So,
dude, speaking of which, I've had a couple very funny Julio in the Wild moments of just crazy, like random funny shit happening on the street. I walk out of my building the other day and I just hear, ah! And I look to the right and there's this guy sort of like moving his foot. He's sort of like looking, and another guy walks by me who has nothing to do with that guy. He sees me looking and he goes, dog shit. He stepped in dog shit. And then he starts muttering to himself like something along the lines of these animals, people aren't covering the curb. And I was like, that's insane, dude.
Dog shit, I say.
Dog shit. And it made me realize it's like there has been more dog shit on the sidewalk this year. I don't know if it's like a post-COVID, like maybe there just aren't as many people attending to that or people decided to stop caring. But there's so much dog shit that was never cleaned up that there was actually glacial dog shit on the sidewalk.
Ossified.
That's just there forever. And if you step on it, it doesn't even get on you.
Yeah.
It's just shit that has been beaten into the sidewalk and it's there forever.
Part of New York now.
Yeah.
Like those pieces of gum that get stepped on so many times that they just become part of the patchwork of the road or the sidewalk.
Dude, which is an interesting thing because what made me think of this, and I wasn't sure if this was a thing that made sense, calling it glacial dog shit, because I feel like there's a common misconception that glaciers are icebergs, when in fact a glacier is just frozen snow that remains frozen forever to the point where, so it doesn't have to be in the water, it can be on land.
I thought glaciers had to be moving or something.
No, a glacier, because I was in Alaska and had this very clearly explained to me, that a glacier is just frozen snow that has just been frozen forever. So when the glaciers melt, a glacier should not melt.
Right.
Because in theory, a glacier should be frozen forever because it's in a climate that supports the glacier remaining.
Damn.
So anyway, that's what.
Okay, I got one for you.
Let's hear it.
I never know what I tell you.
Same. It's all.
But we're coming back from Puerto Rico. We get in line to get on the plane.
You did not tell me this.
Okay. It's crowded. And
So first of all, I don't know that you've mentioned that you were in Puerto Rico.
Oh, that's where that wedding was.
Because we're trying to avoid Oops, the Wedding podcast from actually being a thing.
Yeah, right.
But you were in Puerto Rico.
We were in Puerto Rico for the wedding.
For
We're
a
flying home on Sunday, and we get in line. It's JetBlue, and they call up, Mosaic members, military people, parents traveling with young children, et cetera, et cetera. Then they start going by the groups, boarding groups. We're group C or 3. They do group A. Then group A boards. Everyone else, by the way, has now created a kind of a mass around
They've secured the perimeter
line
of the
so that as
gates.
soon as they call their number, people can get on the plane. And there is, by the way, value to getting on the plane quickly, especially when a plane is full, because as you know, you don't want, if you've traveled with just carry-ons, you've done the difficult part of stuffing all your crap into one bag that goes on the plane so that you don't have to wait for the carousel when you get off the plane.
Yeah.
But if you get on the plane towards the end, they'll make you check your bag, they'll gate check it, then you got to wait for the carousel.
Yeah, which is annoying.
Which is hell. So, everyone's trying to get on the plane quickly. And the woman called after group A was complete, she said, okay, next up, we are now boarding groups B and C, groups B and C. So she called 2 groups.
Same time.
And so everyone starts, B's and C's start going forward. I'm C, by the way. And a bunch of C's get up there, and the guy scanning tickets sees a couple in a row, and he's like, we're not doing C yet. We're not doing C.
Oh, my God.
And everyone's like, wait a second. Yeah, they said B and C. And he's like, no, we're just doing B's. And the woman was like, then she comes back on. She's like, we're just doing line B. And so people who had almost scanned their ticket were all the way in the front. There's this one family, a guy, his wife, and they have their little young daughter. And the mother is carrying the daughter in her arms. This guy is clearly group C. And he's like, what the fuck? Like, you called the names. And the guy, the gate agent for JetBlue, starts going, no, I need you to back up now, and starts kind of like shooing them away.
Oh my God.
The father threw an elbow at him.
Oh my God.
And kind of like caught him like in the chest.
Oh my God.
Not at the face, not a strike, but initiated
He was like, get the fuck away
physical
from me. Wow,
contact.
Dude.
And then the JetBlue guy cocked his fist back and held it there and was like,
Are you serious?
They didn't say anything to each other, but all of this happened very quickly. And I'm standing 3 feet away.
If only, dude, speaking of a good TikTok.
I'm trying to get my phone out in time. Of course. Those things explode.
Yeah.
But the best part of this is
that's insane.
All this happens. The JetBlue guy, the father and his family fade back into the line, right? And they quickly realize, like, we need to fade away because they've effectively just assaulted an airport employee.
Yeah, you end up on a no-fly list.
Yeah, right.
For doing that.
And so I'm watching this unfold, and I'm like, okay.
Like, oh
they kind of walked into the line of the next gate as if to like melt in, like Homer Simpson melting into the bush, that meme or that GIF or whatever. And I'm watching the JetBlue agent who just got attacked or whatever. Is he calling in the cops? Is he, whatever? He pulled out his cell phone from his pocket and made a call. Now they call gate the C's. I get on. So I get onto the jetway and I'm watching him, and it doesn't even look like he's calling a superior or anything to like come sort this guy out or get him arrested. The woman behind me on the jetway was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry about that." And he was like, "Yeah, fortunately cooler heads prevailed. It's fine." And that guy later, when I got on the plane, I saw him and the family come on. These two dudes let it go without communicating about it.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
The JetBlue agent was like, "No big deal."
So he was then also on the plane?
And then the father...
He ended up being a flight attendant?
Well, I don't know if he was a flight attendant, but the father would have needed to pass that guy.
Right.
And he didn't say anything. And the father and his family got on the plane.
That's crazy.
And it was just like water under the bridge.
That's crazy.
A physical attack in an airport at the gate. They both were like,
That's crazy, bro.
No big deal.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
That is fucking crazy. Dude, that's crazy.
I was impressed.
I
was impressed that it did not become a bigger thing.
Well, dude, I'll tell you what. I bet you that guy has some experience smoking some dad grass.
Somebody needs to get him some.
Someone needs to get that guy some dad grass.
Someone needs to get that dad some dad grass.
Someone needs to get that dad some dad grass, dude. It's the most chill way to be chill without having to completely alter the way you think.
You are a huge fan and you love it.
Dude.
You told me this last night away from the podcast. You are a big buyer of the dad grass.
I've been smoking dad grass. I've been smoking mom grass. I've been smoking all the grass, dude.
Yeah.
There are both of those classifications.
Are there?
Yes. Smokable, CBD, pre-rolled joints, all sorts of products. It is amazing. It will calm you down, and you will think twice before you cold cock an airport employee.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, this stuff is 100% organic, pre-rolled joints, very low in THC, very high in CBD. You can enjoy the effects of CBD while keeping a clear head. Chill out without getting stoned. It's like having a glass of wine, not the whole bottle. I like that metaphor.
That's
it's very good.
Yeah.
All Dadgrass products are federally legal for ages 21 and over, and it ships to your door anywhere in the U.S. Right now, dadgrass.com is offering our listeners 20% off on your first order when you go to dadgrass.com/oops. Go to dadgrass.com/oops for 20% off your first order. That's dadgrass.com/oops.
Nice.
Boom. Dude, another funny public story. I'm walking down the street and I notice some guy walking next to me. And I'm like, oh, maybe this is just like a coincidence. I'll slow down and he'll go ahead. And no, he's still walking next to me. I catch in the corner of my eye, he's looking at me and he goes, hey. And I look and I go, hey. And he goes, very calmly, you think you could help me out? And I was like, no, I'm sorry, man. And then he goes, fuck you. And I go, what? And he goes, I said, fuck you. And I was like, why would you say that to me, dude? He goes, because you didn't help me out. And I was like, this is fucking weird, dude. I'm gonna get out of here. I've never seen a person maintain such a calm demeanor while telling someone else to fuck off and then having very specific answer to a very irrational situation.
Yeah, I know.
I told you fuck you because you didn't help me out. That might have been the wrong.
So this brings up a really big sticking point that I've had with a friend of mine for years.
What was that?
I think that a lot of the people that ask for money in New York are more entitled than some of the people who ask for money in other places.
So I've heard that people be like, "Oh, you think the New York homeless people are bad? You should see San Francisco." Like I've heard that before.
No,
and I wonder.
Yeah,
that might not be the same thing.
No, but what I mean is, if you don't give them their money or give them whatever, they think they give you crap for it.
Interesting.
And it's like, well, it's not my duty to give my money to you. It's not. I'm not required to do that. And the weird part is, when I see talented musicians or singers in the subway or whatever, I will give money to those people. And then the problem is, you see other people just asking for money, and I'm like, well, you didn't learn a skill. You're not playing the violin. You missed the violin guy by 5 minutes. You should have waited longer, because that's a tough act to follow. There's no chance you're going to make money next to that guy.
Interesting.
But my friend says there's no way that panhandlers can be entitled by virtue of the fact that they are asking for money. That's already like
they should not be, or it's just impossible.
He says it's ridiculous for you to call them entitled.
Oh.
That's wrong.
Dude, I feel that way sometimes too. And then sometimes I'm like, maybe this is just like a New York edge thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like people will be like, can I have some money? And then if you don't have anything, you're like, sorry. And then they'll get mad at you. That sucks. That's just a shitty situation.
Right. I have been reamed out after being asked for money. Look, it's one thing.
Politely saying no.
It's one thing if someone asks me for money and I just ignore them and walk ahead. Because then if someone's like, fuck you, I get that. It would be annoying to be. It's
a stretch for me, but I hear what you're saying.
Certainly more than if I'm like,
right.
listen, I'm sorry, I don't have any cash on me.
I would give it to you if I did. Right. And then that should, yeah.
But because if you, to be ignored is, it's, you feel demoralized. It's like you're being treated less than.
Right.
But if someone says, listen, I don't have any money, but have a great day or whatever, like, sorry, I can't. I don't have anything.
Yeah.
And then you still say like, fuck you.
Dude, it sucks. It's like, dude.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. And some of these people, you know, unfortunately are crazy. Like, have you ever seen the Christmas Carol guy? You have?
Who's that?
There's this guy on the subway who sings Christmas carols year round, and he kind of like mixes Christmas carols and then makes animal noises. And it's very interesting. He'll be like, hallelujah, pa-ra-pa-pum-pum, meow, meow. Dude, I'm serious. I'm serious. And then he just starts going, Feliz Navidad. And then he goes, ruff, ruff, ruff. Dude, it's insane, but it's hilarious. I'm just like, you know, I would give that guy money. I typically don't have money on me.
That guy deserves some money.
But that guy, you know, is, you know, not all there. He's clearly not all there.
Yeah.
But dude, people, dude, it's crazy. It's taking the liberties with the lyrics. You're like, oh, like those aren't the lyrics, and then you're like, oh, that guy's crazy.
That's a novel take on Christmas songs,
dude. So I think the New York edge plays into that a little bit, and here's what I mean. If you go to CVS, I was in Richmond, Virginia. I went to CVS. Hi, welcome to CVS. Do you know what aisle something unbelievably obscure is in? Do you know what aisle travel size, sensitive, whatever, the most obscure item in the store? Yeah, that's aisle 7A. If you go up to New York, a New York person at CVS, and you ask them a yes or no question, I've gotten this response. Yeah, I'll be like, do you guys have any more smart water? Yeah, like a neutral grunt. Yeah. They're not even answering the question.
Right.
But they're not being rude. That's just like New York.
Right.
Like New York people get this bad rap of not being nice, but it's wrong. You know what I mean? Like in New York, if somebody falls down on the train, everyone will help them immediately. You know what I mean? Like New York people are helpful and nice, but they're not like
warm.
Really nice when they don't need to be.
They're not. Yeah,
or
they're
warm,
not, yeah,
right?
They're not warm.
I don't know. That might be a stretch. But
I'm starting to worry about my financial future. Starting to read more about inflation and the long-term implications of the economy. You know, I'm actually starting to take a vested interest.
So you're just worried that, you know, whatever investments you have or whatever are going to underperform for the foreseeable future?
I'm worried about the fact that laundry detergent this year costs 6% more than it did last year.
Okay. The cost of living.
Because what happens then is that if your investments, you know, make 7% a year, then realistically they only make 1%.
Got it.
Because what matters is the growth of your money against inflation.
Mm-hmm.
And all these goods that cost X for so long are now higher and higher. And it, you know, typically it happens slowly enough that we kind of just don't realize it, or it's not that dramatic. But now it is. Flights, there's, you know, used cars are insane. Laundry equipment was number 3 on the list of goods that have been most affected in price by inflation.
I wouldn't worry about it, dude. I understand that everything that you're saying makes sense. And
Well,
it's like,
what will happen is if we experience a really prolonged and accelerated period of inflation, the Fed will raise interest rates to try to choke it out, as they did in, I think, the 70s and the 80s, which craters the economy for a while, but it has to happen to get prices under control.
Right.
And I don't know, man. I don't mean to be super pessimistic, but we're like the people in Game of Thrones who have never experienced winter.
Winter's coming.
And winter's coming.
I
All
mean,
we've ever known is summer.
Dude, you know, you just have to hope that things turn out better than they seem like they're going to.
I'm
not a
are
doomsday
these financial horizons, these gathering clouds, are they affecting your day-to-day spending at all?
No, not at all. I mean, they probably are, and I just don't notice. But I'm not like going to be on the street next week being like, fucking inflation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I do understand, but I try not to worry about things that I have no control over and things that aren't happening. Like, I understand that and I've been hearing about inflation too for a while. Like, they're talking about it. They're like, oh, inflation, you know, the stimulus stuff and the low interest rates and whatever, there's inflation. And I understand that there's like big implications for that. But until it's like really impacting my life, I'm not going to think about it. And that might be the wrong way to do it.
At what age do you think it will start impacting your life?
Inflation?
No.
Oh, financial stuff?
Money in general.
You know, money already impacts my life.
No, but here's my question, right? So
obviously, that's an insane statement.
Interest rates are it's the cost of borrowing money.
Right.
You borrow money to buy a house
right.
or car, whatever. You're not doing that yet.
Right.
When do you think you might do that?
I have no idea.
Do you want to own a house by the time you're 40?
I don't know.
I want to own a house by the time I'm 40.
Yeah.
I think I know that.
So I don't really have, I guess I'm far away then from this impacting me because I'm not like thinking that way yet. And I may eventually, but I just don't know what my life's going to be like in a couple of years. So
do you think it's not living enough in the present for me to be thinking about these things?
It just really depends on a couple things. I mean, I don't know the specifics of your financials, so and I don't want to, like, it would just be weird. So that of course would impact my answer. Also, you know, if you really know what you want, then no. You know what I mean? I just know that a lot of the time I've decided that I want something later, and then later comes and I get it, and I'm like, I don't want this. So I try to like remember that, but I realize that it's important to family plan and like these things all matter. Like, you're going to have kids one day, like all this shit. So then at some point you have to start planning things. I get that. So I think you're being responsible.
Yeah.
But I think one of the beautiful things about what we do, it's also one of the terrible things about what we do, is that things change for the better or worse, and like we don't know. But hopefully they change for the better, and your thought process is then different because they have changed for the better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. Whatever.
No, I think that's fair. It's
but the more money that I have, the more I am stressed about it. Like when I didn't have any money, like I was so reckless, I didn't give a fuck. Oh my God, I don't have any money anywhere. Like, what's an extra $2,000 of debt going to do to me already? And this hole that I'm never going to get out of. Literally, that's what I would think of.
That was how you felt? And
at one point, yeah.
Did the debt weigh on you in sort of in general?
Sometimes, yeah. I'd have these aha moments where I'd be like, what the fuck? This is
How
gonna ruin your life.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What was the most of all the debt that you were ever in on just your credit cards?
Money wise?
Yeah. What was the highest? What was the deepest hole you were in?
Oof. I don't know.
Was it over 20 grand?
Yes.
Was it over 30?
I don't know. I don't know specifically, but it was a lot.
It was over 20 grand.
It was a lot.
And when you're 22, 23, I mean, I would not know, to your point, I wouldn't know which way was up and which way was down.
Right.
It wouldn't have any, I'd be like, I'm going to die before I can pay this off.
So yes, there was that, but my thought process of getting there is like, I want to do X, Y, Z, and I'm not going to not do it because I don't have the money. So I'm just going to make a terrible decision. The way I made the fucking Rwanda documentary thing was by putting it all on a credit card. I had no money. I had no way to pay it off. Maxed out a credit card. Let's fucking do this.
And the credit card charges you interest on that.
Yeah.
Did you chip away at it over time?
I began to get myself into a system where I was planning to pay it off eventually. Eventually you had to face it, and eventually you got to fucking start making it happen. And, you know, I was lucky with the way that certain things came in, that I would get kind of like chunks of money at a time, and I was able to allocate towards getting rid of it. And now, as I've talked about before on the podcast, I'm super anal about paying. I literally pay my credit card every day.
Yeah.
I don't want that to ever happen again.
Did you, how resilient was your credit score? Does it come back quickly?
Yeah, I have a good credit score now. And my credit score was actually never bad. The only thing that made it bad was that my available credit was low because I had so many lines of credit. But I never missed payments. I was never like being chased for money. I was always paying, but like not paying enough that I would have really good credit.
Right. Well, okay. So again, excuse me for being so naive about this stuff, but my credit card, it says like every month, you know, X amount is due. The minimum payment is $15.
Right.
$15 is like
right. You'll never pay it off.
An infinitesimal fraction of my balance.
Yeah. And if you were to pay it that way.
Were you paying the minimum amount?
It depends. So like what I started to do, I read about this strategy where it's like you start attacking one balance at a time. So I would make really big payments on one, and then I would just pay the minimum on the rest.
Interesting. That does feel good. You start knocking them down.
It becomes a game. It becomes fun. And you kind of like, you know, you're so used to being in all this debt. You're not like, oh man, my life would be so good if I didn't have debt. You're just like, this is my life. But life is significant. And listen, the other thing too, like I already had student loans. It's like credit cards are like the fucking it's like an opioid thing. It's like student loans are the pills and credit cards are the heroin.
Yeah, yeah.
It's really easy. You're like, oh, I'm already in 100 grand of debt.
Right.
What's 10 grand gonna do?
Right.
I didn't understand interest rates that well. I didn't understand the structure of like, oh, if you pay the minimum payment, you're gonna chip away your balance by like 0.5% every single time you make a payment. I just didn't understand any of that.
Interesting.
And I was young and I was in the city and I didn't have enough money to like do stuff with people. So I was like, fuck it. I'm just gonna like let it rip.
How did banks keep giving you credit cards?
So, okay, I didn't have 16 credit cards. I had like 3 or 4. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't like, I wasn't like scamming people. And it was never anything that crazy. Like obviously at one point I had a big balance, but it was never not manageable. And it ended up, when it got to the point where it was about to get unmanageable, where it's like, I literally, if I keep going in this direction, I won't even be able to afford the minimum payments.
Right.
And then you're fucked. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I got on top of it when it started to seem like it could get out of control.
Wow.
That is, whatever.
Incredible. That's cool. I like hearing about that. And I know I'm coming from obviously a privileged position, and I've been fortunate where I've always been able to pay off my full balance every month.
Yeah.
So the whole concept of credit card debt is one that I don't know much about, but I know a lot of people face it.
Really? I mean, I wonder, it's like a thing you don't want to talk about because it's like embarrassing. You know what I mean?
Is it embarrassing?
Of course. While it's happening, while you don't tell anybody. No, I don't think anybody in my life knew about that. Even girls that I was dating, my family, nobody knew that. And then once you've paid it all, it's not embarrassing anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It's fine. But you got to take little steps to try to like make things cost less. Like how do you set aside more money to attack it? One of them, saving money on your cell phone.
Oh, that's a good way. That's a big way. That is a big way.
That's a big way.
Mm-hmm.
Mint Mobile.
Mint Mobile.
Great way to lower your monthly payments down to close to nothing.
$15 a month.
$15 a month. Again, what's the catch? It's pretty miraculous that they offer that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they are the first company to sell wireless service online only. So that's an interesting thing. I didn't even realize that. Just completely cutting out the retail stores. I guess they're trying to literally tell us how they are able to make things so affordable. But anyway, they offer premium wireless for just $15 a month, offering text and high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and keep your same phone number along with all your existing contacts. Francis, you have the SIM card in your hand.
I do.
I think that's what
the cleverness
they're referring
kit.
to by that.
Mm-hmm.
Clever indeed. If you're not 100% satisfied, Mint Mobile has you covered with their 7-day money-back guarantee. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/oops. That's mintmobile.com/oops. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/oops. Yeah. Yeah, man.
Nice.
I've been doing a new micro prank to Hillary. I don't know if I can repeat this micro prank, but I did it once and I thought it was funny.
Okay, give it to us.
I suggest you all try it. If we're out and we're at dinner and we have we're having fun, whatever, I'll go to Cheers and then I'll very sincerely say, to me. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
That is nice.
Throw that in there with your repertoire.
That's good.
The gags.
Well, you did a really nice toast at the dinner we had earlier last week. That, I mean, it was so sincere. You don't see toasts that often anymore.
Right, unless it's at like some formal event where like
right.
a toast is going to occur.
At just a group of 4 people at a friend's dinner.
Yeah.
It was a nice thing of you to take a second and say, "Listen up, motherfuckers."
I saw Hillary hesitate
say.
when I went to give a toast because I formally said I saw her be like, I didn't know about this. I just saw that in her eyes.
He's going off on his own.
It was fine. She's like, I don't know what's going to happen here, but Julio, please relax. Things are going well. But then, I didn't talk for 40 minutes. It was quick. I said that, I love you guys. And it was a nice.
Well, here's a question I have for you. So when we arrived home from that dinner, we both looked at each other and we said, should we write them a thank you text tonight or tomorrow?
You guys sent a very nice
And I said,
text.
I think we got to do tonight.
You don't have to do anything.
I think this is going to be a tonight text because I didn't want you guys going to bed wondering, did they not appreciate that?
Dude, you made it very clear in real time that you did. To me, that's enough. This doesn't have to turn into a homework assignment for you. I'm a firm believer in you give something to someone, it should be about them. It is not about me. Therefore, I want you to enjoy it. And I don't want you to feel new pressure that you didn't have before this thing that you have no control over was given to you.
I see.
So I don't want you to feel like, if I don't send a good enough thank you text, they're going to think, I would never have thought that. I just want you to know. You guys sent very nice texts though.
As sweet as that sentiment is, I think you should definitely keep an eye out on your mailbox for a handwritten thank you note at some point in the next week, as well as potentially a subscription to Sports Illustrated, which I may or may not have signed you up for. And let's just say that's only the tip of the iceberg You're going to be receiving
housekeeping.
a lot of thank yous for that dinner.
Dude, Danny Palmer, who I talk about all the time on this podcast, somebody has done this prank to him where they've signed him up for all these magazines. And for years and years and years, I've been pulling pranks on him, and he refuses to believe that it isn't me. He is positive that it's me. Dude, one time we played a prank on him where we had Benny call him and say, he's like, dude, I'm really in trouble with like loan sharks. Like, I need you to help me.
Benny called
Yes.
Danny and said that.
Yes,
Yeah.
we were all together calling him, and he's like, dude, he's like, what did you do, Benny? Like, completely believing it. So that happens, and then I text Danny. I'm like, dude, we need to have an intervention for Benny. Like, it's gotten too
This is
far.
good.
Yeah. So we plan an intervention for Benny that Danny now thinks we're going into this intervention for his friend. So I take Danny to the bar beforehand. I'm like, dude, okay, like we gotta, like, we need to be unified front here. Like,
Yeah.
and then we just threw a party for Danny instead. So it makes it less of like a mean prank.
That's nice.
But we pull these like very elaborate pranks on him.
That's good.
And it's funny, but anyway.
Yeah, you're putting him through the emotional car wash kind of, it's just a total. That's so, to go from that expectation of that to being surprised by a birthday party. It's like really ups and downs, hot and cold.
Yeah, it turned into a Danny appreciation party.
Yeah. Would you rather have a pool or a hot tub at your house?
Pool. Hillary would say hot tub. But I don't hot tubs don't do it for me. Like, they're very nice in the winter. She will go in a hot tub if it's 100 degrees in a tropical environment and humid. She wants to go
like that.
She goes, let's hit the tub.
Yeah, it's too hot.
I'm like, dude.
What about
you?
some kind? Well, I think it's pool for me, definitely.
I like there to be both in an ideal scenario.
That's
if I
nice.
have to choose, a pool is much more versatile.
That's a treat.
But there's something wonderful about the sort of like après ski. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the ski town.
Yeah.
Jacuzzi with the snow falling and. That's a really nice vibe.
We used to play spin the bottle. We'd let the jets push the bottle around
Oh,
till
wow.
it's settled, and then we do makeouts in the hot tub.
Oh, shit, dude.
We all just watched each other make out.
Fuck.
Listen to the
dude.
sound of our lips smacking over the jets and the bubbles.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm
Hell
saying.
yeah,
Hell
dude.
yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you'd be in the basement rubbing noses with some chick you were in love with.
That's right.
Too nervous to consummate it.
You're too good for him.
Yeah.
Me saying that to somebody. Dude, that's fucking great. Yeah, interesting. Pool or hot tub is a good question. But
Well,
I think-
the reason I think about this is that, I'm trying to think about what would be a good asset to a home someday that would be really good for entertaining guests. Is there a game you can put? We love playing shuffleboard.
it's a fun game.
Do you know those shuffleboard? You go to a bar, the
Yeah,
little
yeah.
discs on the sandy.
Yeah, why? Yeah, for some reason there's like sand or
The
hay,
sand is what
mulch.
keeps it sliding.
It's like fucking, what's that, curling?
Yeah. Shuffleboard is really fun.
It's a good game.
It's a game where, you can play co-ed, doubles. It's like very interactive, whatever.
Cold weather cornhole.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a shuffleboard, even though they're big, I think shuffleboard would be a really great addition to a house.
Interesting. I feel like, dude, that's like a thing that I would have thought I wanted in my house when I was 15. My dream house, there'd be a water slide that started in my bedroom and went to the basement pool. And it doesn't even look like a water slide. It looks like a washing machine. And then you open it and it's a water slide.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that, it's something that you don't need.
Well,
It's
you
easy
don't
to
need
maintain.
It. No, you don't need it. You're right. But it would be nice to have. So I would, for example, I would probably get a shuffleboard at this point in my life. If I bought a house tomorrow, I would get a shuffleboard table before I would get a ping pong table.
Oh, interesting.
But once I had kids, I'd want ping pong.
Yeah, I guess that's a low maintenance enough thing. I'm sort of the school of thought that like any sort of attraction that you want to add to your house that is done best with a full-time staff tending to that specific thing, you shouldn't put it in your house.
Like what?
Like a at-home spa or a bowling alley or a roller coaster.
Yeah,
I'm just saying any of these pipe dream things.
We're going from ping pong tables and to bowling alleys.
Because, dude, even like any of like the quote fanciest houses I've ever been in, they have shit like that in them that just don't work.
And people don't use
and they don't use them. Oh, the popcorn machine. It just looks like it's decaying. Like there's butter stuck. I'm like, dude, I don't want fucking.
It's disgusting.
It requires a level of maintenance that most like people who are living in a home, even if you have like a staff in your house, they still are unable to maintain it.
Yeah, that's
the basketball court just turns into like a furniture storage.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Right.
So,
well, I'm thinking about the stuff I want to fill my dream house with, all the crap.
Shuffleboard?
Shuffleboard's right up at the top of the list.
I think shuffleboard is doable.
Yeah.
It's easy. Like you said, a little bit of sand, just sand down the court.
Yeah.
And it's also fun. I mean, you're a host that provides your guests with a lot of activity options. And I think it would fit right in with the sort of run of show that you're used to.
Have you ever been to a home that had a really well done bocce court?
Yes, like one.
Those are sick.
Yeah, I guess.
But you're right. Shuffleboard's easier.
Chris, you love
Do you
bocce?
like bocce? Chris is grabbing the mic. Apparently,
my grandpa has one in his house, like on the side.
Inside?
Not inside. I'm sorry. It's
I was
outside.
gonna say.
Yeah, it's like
they're huge.
Yeah, it's like this whole thing made.
But you got to
that.
keep it super level.
Yeah,
that's the trickiest part. Because
It's like a bunker.
if it's at all off axis, if there's any kind of dip or anything, the balls don't roll true.
Yeah,
it's funny. It's a game that you're tempted to play without a bocce field or whatever you want to call it, a court.
Yeah,
but if you try playing in like an actual field, just like it's impossible. It's like fucking ripping a putt on the 18th green of the PGA Championship. It's like going to the next hole. It's just like ripping. So you need the contained area. But I don't know. I think it's overkill still. A bocce court.
Yeah. Well, please send your suggestions for what sort of dream items or games you might have in your dream house. oopsthepodcast@gmail.com.
Guys, Oops the Podcast. We love you all. Make sure to come check out our live show December 1st at City Winery. It's going to be a good time. I'm doing my New York Comedy Festival show November 9th at Caveat. Tickets can be gotten for all of these things in our respective bios and links. Shouldn't be rocket science, but the Oops the Podcast bio will have it. Francis's website will have it for my New York Comedy Festival show. Check out my bio and my Instagram. Chris wanted to say something about YouTube.
So we will be going forward and putting up a bunch more videos on YouTube, some extra content for you guys to watch. And our first video, we will be shooting a Q&A. So the way you leave questions is by subscribing to our channel and then leaving a comment on one of our latest episodes. And we can tell if you're subscribed. So subscribe, leave a comment on there. And then we have a ton of really funny stuff planned. They don't even know about what they're going to do, but we're going to put them through some fun stuff. And
I love that, Chris.
Yeah, so subscribe and thank you.
Fuck, I'm excited about that. That's dope. All right, guys, you know where to send emails, oopspodcast@gmail.com. Goodbye.